Hello everybody, I am JT Bear. Welcome to the Clean Valley Farms, I guess, slide preview. I was asked if I had any pictures available of the property that I'm looking at. And while I don't personally have any pictures that I've taken, these are the pictures of the property that are available freely on the website where it's listed. Now, you can see up in the top left-hand corner there the whole website address, and you can check this out yourself if you want. But I am going to ask you please not to be a jerk and steal the property from me because, man, just look at some of these pictures. I am beyond super excited about the potential that this property could offer as far as the things that I'd like to do. There's, these old buildings here. I'd really love to check out some of these old buildings with the metal detector and just plain to look at the architectural styles and things like that. Look at these large open meadows. All this woodland here. It looks to me like there's going to be some great small game hunting. It's my understanding that this property rests on Crown land, which for those of you who are unfamiliar with Canadian laws, that's basically just still government-owned land. So anywhere that the fence line is Crown land, I can still wander pretty freely, and I don't have to worry about paying property taxes on it or whatnot. Look at that red house. That is so beat up and falling down on its foundation there, but I bet you there's some really interesting stuff in the soil there. And it kind of looks like there's a bit of a garden around one part of that. I would really love to check that out. I'm quite curious to know what might still be surviving there in the form of weeds, really. And basically, judging by how old that structure is, I'm thinking there's probably maybe some fruit trees around there. I'm guessing there are berries around here from when that house was originally built as well. There's a lot of hillsides and embankments, so as far as building the Hobbit home or the Earthship homes, it should be exceedingly simple to be able to pull that off. Seems to me most of this land would be ideal goat grazing territory. So I should be able to deal with a lot of those shrubberies and stuff. Okay, now look at this water. This is one of the things that really excites me too. This water runs all year round through the property, and as such, that means I should be able to harness it for a little hydroelectric power. This property is completely out of any zoned area, so I could do a hunting camp or an RV camp or a tiny house community, or basically anything I want on this land, as long as it's not, straight up illegal. The government of Canada says no. But otherwise, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, see, look on the side of that house there. Totally looks like a little garden patch. But anyway, yeah, so these are pictures of the property. There's lots and lots of spaces available. I have touched a couple of times on the tiny house / little house community that I'd like to put together there. Basically, okay, you've seen the red house, you've seen that little outbuilding. There is no way that Shocks and I could move straight onto that property. But if we build a tiny house to start with and we can get ourselves out of the rental situation, we're going to be saving almost $900 a month right there, which would basically pay the mortgage on this place if we could only qualify for a mortgage and we had a place to live while we were doing it. So it seems to me a tiny house, or even a little house, not necessarily tiny, but little, would definitely provide for us that way. I think I worked it out because I actually measured the house once. The house we're in right now is a whopping 20 feet wide and 42 feet long. So what is that, 840 square foot maximum, not including walls and closets and stuff, because those are outside measurements of the house. Seriously, that's an exterior measurement of 20 by 42. This place isn't that much bigger than a tiny house, but it's still bigger than a tiny house. And at the same time, it's still way too small for what our needs are. I want a music room. I'll just call it a duck. I want a music room. I want a dojo. I want almost a dance studio, if you will. Look at that building, though. That brown structure, this red structure here. Quite fascinating, and yeah, I'd just love to go around there with a metal detector. That would be awesome. That right there looks like a really great place for me to try panning for gold. I mean, it is British Columbia. I doubt I'm going to find much there, but it's the adventure with a lot of this stuff that really is the fun. So, lots of trees that I can work with on the land. So, firewood isn't going to be much of an issue. Fuel isn't going to be much of an issue. I think these are springtime pictures. So, I'm guessing that I'm going to get ample sunlight from my greenhouses and things out of this deal. It looks like it would be an absolutely beautiful place to set up guest cabins. Certainly going to be plenty of trail opportunities there. It won't take me long before I've got a horse for myself, because I'm a horse kind of guy. I'm sure most of you have already figured that out by now. And guest horses are pretty easy to find. It's just a matter of finding. Usually these are like old race horses that have been retired, and they're being saved from the dog food factories and glue pots and such. And as with any rescued creature, the love that you're going to get out of that is phenomenal. If you ever get the opportunity to rescue a horse, it's great. The last 2 horses that I had, Kavi and Veshka, were rescued horses. But when I moved to Saskatchewan, probably about 11 years ago, I discovered something quite stupid, really. Apparently, you can no longer put horses on the train to transport them, and I only found one person who had a horse trailer that was willing to go from Penticton, British Columbia to Kenora, Saskatchewan. Actually, it was Shaunavon, Saskatchewan at the time. And they were going to charge me so much money, it would have almost been cheaper for me to pay the gas and buy a horse trailer just to move my horses out there. So I ended up selling them to another person here in the valley who turned them into trail riding horses, because they were good, mature horses. They were very stable, very reliable animals. But anyway, horse trails, that's going to be something for the guest opportunities there. There are lots of places on this property where, as I said before, tiny houses, little houses would be very inobtrusive, not in the way. And there are a lot of people I'm finding who really just need a helping hand, not like a hand out, but a hand up. So one thing we're kind of toying with is, okay, there's 37 acres. I'm not going to need 37 acres to achieve my goals. So if we parcel it off in like 1 acre sections, that's still a pretty reasonable sized chunk of land. And if we let people come and build their own mobile tiny house on that acre, then it's simply going to be like $10 a day to stay there, or just come work for an hour and you've got your day covered. 30 hours and you've got your month covered, right? Like, if you can't afford cash because you're trying to build your tiny house, that's totally cool. I understand your motivation. And if I get this property, it's only going to be because of other people being totally cool and helping me out. So I have absolutely no problem with helping other people in return. As far as the little houses that will be permanently on the property, those will be built right into the ground with proper waste treatment going into the fuel forest area, because I do intend to harvest a lot of our firewoods and things from the surrounding area. So having it go to trees of heaven or willow forests, or basically anything that's going to get burnt and not eaten, it's fine. It's totally a moot point if your sewage is processed in that fashion, and it's not going to be going into the creek anyway. So that's fine too. With that creek running on the water, somebody's a little excited. With that creek running on the property, I know I'm going to have adequate supply of fairly safe to drink water, and I'm also going to have an adequate supply of, light filter, and should be able to go straight into the fish tanks, which is fabulous, because one of the things that I'm going to want to do as soon as Shocks and I have all of our stuff on the land is I'm going to want to start building greenhouses, aren't I? And there are a wide variety of greenhouses that I really want to try. The geodome is one that Shocks finds particularly fascinating. I'm very interested in it too. I don't know how many of you have seen Bigelow Brook Farms, or Web for Deb, I believe the old name was for that channel, but they have built just a phenomenal geodome greenhouse. And just recently, actually, he had a bit of a smoke issue going on in there, so my heart really goes out to him. But that doesn't change the fact that the greenhouse that they've built there is just absolutely phenomenal. Strongly recommend checking it out. I would very much like to try something like that. I want to try building an Earthship style greenhouse, which is not the same as one of those Wallapalini, which I probably pronounced it wrong, style greenhouses, but a genuine Earthship. It's south facing. Most of it's protected from the elements by Earth itself, and it just in theory should work pretty well. There's the solar panels that go with Earth ships, and all the LED lighting that I'm into. So anything inside of that that doesn't necessarily get enough natural light. Oh, black screen. I guess that's when my screensaver was about to cut off there. Sorry about that. But anything that won't get enough natural light from the front of the greenhouse will have ample LED coverage from the solar panels. I'm so not worried about that. So Wapalini, that's the other style I definitely want to try building. That's one where the bulk of your greenhouse is in the ground, and then you've basically just got the roof that sticks out, and the sun capture is just from the roof. That's going to heat up your walls. It's going to take advantage of the consistent temperature of the earth 3 to 4 feet down. And that should allow me to grow a wider variety of crops all year round. So that in and of itself is really, really exciting. And if it turns out to be true, then great. There's plenty of room here to set up a whole bunch of different aquaponic garden styles, which is really exciting because I really want to, like I say, continue to explore aquaponic opportunities. Really, there are so many crops that haven't been tested yet, and I feel have very, very good potential. But as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, I think on the JT Bear channel itself, you do have to consider the specific needs of any given plant that you're going to grow in your aquaponic garden. And as such, you almost need individual systems for some plants just because of the things that they need. So having this kind of room available and having the square footage of greenhouses available that I will on this type of land, I should be able to basically try planting just about anything and finally answer a lot more of those aquaponic questions that I've had to say, well, I'd love to check that out, but I simply don't have the room. Oh, I'd love to try that experiment, but I don't have the room. Oh, yeah, building a bigger greenhouse. I could do that, but the dog's got nowhere to poop if I do. So there's so many opportunities that are opened up by this kind of land availability. I think basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut up for the next 5 minutes or so and let you enjoy the slideshow itself. And I'm really curious, if you're watching this video, what are some of the things that you can imagine me doing on this property, and or what are some of the things that you would like to see me do if I got this property, just because I've had to say no over the years. So please continue watching this. Please comment below if you're not already subscribed to the Clean Valley channel. Hey, you might as well do that too, because if you're subscribed to the rest of my channels, this is still just me. It's just a farm side of me, which means here on the Clean Valley Farms channel, this is where things like goat dispatch, rabbit dispatch, animal skinning, actual fish consumption from the greenhouse, the grittier side of farming will be shown on the Clean Valley Farms channel, whereas the light fluffy stuff will continue to be shown on Shocks the Muse and JT Bear. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy the rest of this slideshow. And yeah, all right, everybody, thanks for watching. If you would like to see us move on to this property, the fundraiser is linked in a couple of different places. It is up and working now. You can make a donation of whatever size you like. You don't have to go with the various perk sizes. And, if you do go with a perk, fantastic. Thank you very much. And even if you can't afford to make a contribution, you know what? I got a funny kind of feeling your heart is hoping that we get this. So I appreciate that too. So long, everybody. Have yourselves an absolutely fantastic day. Much love from both of us here. Take care.